2 months ago, everything I knew, everything I believed, everything that gave my life its meaning, shattered into a million tiny... I was at a coffee shop downtown, the familiar scent of espresso and sugar filling the air. I had just sat down with a book when a man, a total stranger with a weary, knowing look in his eyes, sat down across from me at my small table and just stared. He didn't say anything. He didn't break eye contact. The silence was unnerving. I was about to get up and leave, to escape the suffocating weight of his gaze, when he leaned forward, his voice a low, gravelly whisper that was meant only for my ears. "Ethan, you look just like me when I was your age." My heart stopped. My blood ran cold. The mug I was holding felt heavy and suddenly foreign in my hand. Because this man, this total stranger, he had the same exact eyes as me, the same shade of green with flecks of gold, the same slightly crooked smile that I saw every time I looked in the mirror. It was impossible. And yet, there was a familiarity that felt as though I had been born knowing him. Before I could even react, before I could ask him who he was or how he knew my name, he slid a small, faded photograph across the table. My eyes focused on the image. It was him, younger, with a full head of hair, holding a tiny swaddled baby. Me. And on the back of the photo, written in my mom's unmistakable looping handwriting, were the words, "For Daniel. Come home safe." The world tilted. The familiar sounds of the coffee shop faded into a distant hum, replaced by a deafening roar in my ears. Because that was my dad's name, Daniel Miller. I sat there stunned, my mind unable to process the evidence in front of the man. My father simply stood up, his eyes a mirror of my own disbelief and pain, and walked away, leaving me alone with the photograph, a ghost from the past who had returned to haunt my present, to unravel the very fabric of my existence with a single, brutal moment of truth. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. The logical part of my brain was screaming in disbelief, but the evidence was right there, cold and undeniable, clutched in my shaking hand. I felt betrayed, angry, terrified. All at once, the emotions crashing over me in a tidal wave. If he was alive, why did my mom lie? Why did she make me grieve someone who was never gone? Why did she let me live with the emptiness, the hole, the sadness that had defined my entire life? I felt a wave of nausea. The grief I had carried for 18 years suddenly felt like a joke, a pointless, cruel performance I had been forced to participate in. The weight of his absence had been a lie. I stormed home that night, the photograph in my pocket a sharp, painful weight against my leg, my mind racing, a hurricane of questions and accusations. Every memory, every story about my dead dad, every candle lit on his birthday, felt like a deliberate deception, a theatrical performance designed to keep me in the dark. The entire foundation of my life felt like it was crumbling beneath me. I walked through the door of the house I had grown up in, the house that now felt like a cage built of secrets. When I showed my mom the picture, she went a terrifying, unnatural pale, her face draining of all color.